Been revised and developing day by day. We're originally going to do the same subject, different canvases, and see what the different approaches were. I'm not sure how it evolved into this, but here we are.
It was his idea.
Oh no, this was your idea. But anyway, we decided just to work on the one canvas and see how it comes out. Our style really isn't that similar, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how we go. I think Cindy paints a little thinner than I do, and I tend to
Jerry's
a lot more
looser.
paint. She's a lot more careful than I am.
I don't know what I am, but Jerry's looser, I'm tighter. So
we're going to start. Oh, okay.
I have the work behind you, so you can say, "This is my work."
Okay.
So you know what they're going to expect.
This is our work, so let's see if I can figure out which is which. Okay, so I think we're. Oh, go ahead. You want to say something?
I said actually, this is Crawfordsville,
Right.
Indiana.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to start out. We're each going to tell us just a little bit about ourselves and how we happen to be here, how we got to this point. So, go ahead.
Okay, I got to meet Jerry through a mutual friend of ours, Don Lowe, and he introduced me to Jerry. I was starting out, I was a portrait pastel painter, so I was starting out with watercolors. So I got introduced to Jerry probably 27, 28 years ago, and he started me out in watercolors, and from there on, and it's been great. I have quite a few of his paintings. He only has a couple of mine. But I have and he's been a great inspiration for me. So, yeah, he's the one that got me going on watercolors. Then I became bored, and Jerry was nowhere around, so I picked up oils. So I kind of like bounced back and forth. But
she was one of those students that you realize that, what's she doing here? She knows more than I do. So.
No, that was not true. That was not true. I painted a red barn, and I think one of the things that came up to me and he said, and I can draw, so I had this nice little drawing going on, and he goes, man, that sure is a red barn. That's when I realized that goes a long ways. So, you don't remember that one?
No.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we used to bring Jerry up to South Bend, Indiana to do a lot of demos and workshops. So that's how we got to know each other. And then I was in an outdoor park show with him. So there's about 3 of us, we all became neighbors in the park show, and we had a blast, we had fun. His wife's name is Cindy. So what's helpful for Jerry, because my name is Cindy, so if he and I had a thing going on, he would never mess up the day. So it kind of like works out good. Yeah, Cindy 1 and Cindy 2. So, but I have 2 sons, 25 and 20. And I live in Rhode Island right now. I'm from Indiana. I've actually been around the block a few times. I lived in Pennsylvania, upstate New York, now Rhode Island. I love to go out west and paint. I absolutely love it. So I balance my time between the Rhode Island landscape, which for a little state, it has the best ocean landscape you can imagine. It has rocks and water, it has cliffs, it has beach, it has marsh. So one little confined little state. Yeah. You mean to get my hair in there? Normally they see me coming, they go by my hair. And I actually have a decent hairdo, but you can't have a hairdo down here.
Are you just finding that out?
I actually can clean up, but down here it's scary.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The bugs get caught in it, and you hear them. Well, yeah, they gave us pine tar soap, I think, so.
That was for the bugs, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I go out west and paint a lot. I love out west. I love the landscape there. I love big, grand landscapes. So the bigger the mountain, the better. And the more hurricanes I get that skirt along the coast, the better. Because when there's a storm, I'm on the coastline just having a gay old time. So, My home is Rhode Island now. I told my husband when we moved there that I will not follow him anymore. Yeah, this was enough. I love that.
Tell him what he does.
He's a basketball coach.
Oh.
So he's
Division I.
He's the Division I basketball coach. So he's I'm in this little group called Married but Single because that you're absolutely right. It's not unfortunately, his name isn't Jerry; it's Jim. So too bad. It worked out. But and my two sons play ball, so they are busy. I have one in Spain playing ball, and I have one playing for his father next year. So my life is real busy. University of Rhode Island. So that's about it in a nutshell for me. How about
Done already? Well, you can finish up then.
We broke out new brushes for this because we thought, it was, I don't know, was it a superstitious thing? Was it?
So what are you painting from? What are you painting? From one of those paintings up there?
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll tell you that before I introduce myself. This is, where we're staying has a beautiful view. And when we look out the window and wake up in the morning, we see the marshes and we see the background. And yesterday morning, we were looking for something to paint. Yesterday morning, there was a beautiful, beautiful sky at 6 in the morning. It was peachy, kind of peachy colored sky, and had some big violet.
We were like the wall. You go, Cindy, check out the window.
And so I didn't really have anything to sketch with, so I did that. And I think Cindy's got a sketch that she's working from as well. So that's why I was scrounging around looking for something to draw on and a pen to work with. So there's that. This morning I got up and we were talking about a sailboat. There were actually a couple of sailboats going by, so I just got a little bit of that. But that's what we're working on.
Whose choice of the background tone?
We both work like this. Mine's a little lighter. Jerry's a little darker. I think I might have more fun with this.
Really?
Background color.
Yeah, I was saying it's too dark. This is darker than I usually go, but I just thought I would try this. I brought a couple of these with me, not knowing this was going to be, what we're going to be using here. So there's no particular reason for that. I think what we're going to be wanting to do here is get that covered up as quickly as possible. But what I like about a toned canvas is that you have a little bit of that showing through altogether, so it kind of unifies it a little bit. And but for a demonstration like this, you don't have to worry about getting every single inch of it covered. A little bit of that shows through, it won't hurt anything. This is actually an acrylic with a lot of medium in it. Makes it a nice slick surface. It's almost like working on linen, and it takes away that dryness of the canvas.
Is that a pure burnt sienna? What is the color?
You know what? I am totally. These are going to be new colors for me, so this will be quite interesting.
Well, use whatever you want.
I've got a different palette, and Jerry's got a stronger palette. Mine's more grayer. Jerry's is stronger, but this will be fun. Because once again, I'm going to learn something here.
Just do that, and then we'll mix the paint. I take mixing batch of paint pretty soon. Anyway, when I was a kid, I was always the kid in school that would try to hurry up and get through other assignments before if it would give me time to draw or do art. From the time I was little, I liked artwork. When I was a little kid, people would ask me what I was going to do when I grew up, and I'd say I want to be an artist. I had no idea what an artist was or why I was going to be that. So then that didn't really develop into anything. I grew up in a small town, rural town, in a school that basically had no art department, and from a blue collar background, and so there was no talk of the arts or anything in our house, and so there was really not even as I got into high school and started thinking about college, there was even no thought given to going into art or to being a painter. And I know my dad was a truck driver. If I'd mentioned to him I wanted to be an artist, I might as well said I was going to be a tap dancer. in rural Indiana, that would have been about that far away. And I have to say, I didn't know that there were actually people were actual artists, ordinary people who were artists at that time, and there probably weren't as many as there are now. But anyway, I went to business school, and I got a regular job. I worked in human resources for about 10 years, and during that time, I was always telling Cindy, are you one or two? I forget. Okay, Cindy one. I was always telling her that one of these days I was going to take up painting. She had no idea that I could draw. And I always could draw somewhat. And so one time for Christmas or a birthday or something, she bought me a little set of paint. I sent me little tubes of paint. I had 4 or 5 canvas boards, and I started in, and had no idea what I was doing. And I realized, I thought it was going to be pretty easy. What's the matching colors and put them on canvas. And so then, I wasn't very long into it, and I realized that it was a little bit trickier than I thought it was going to be. And so then I started signing up for a few workshops and things like that, and that's how that's my education, that and reading a lot of books, a lot of the how-to books and so forth.
Am I scared of you yet?
No, you're doing great. Just keep it up. You'll be done by the time I get done. So at one point then I worked with Don Stone, who really he enlightened me in a lot of ways. He's still going strong in his 80s. I looked him up last year, and he's just a great guy and really productive and still doing as good work or better than ever. But he taught me a lot of things. I soaked up a lot of things. He had me doing my first outdoor painting, which was a whole new thing for me. This was about 30-some years ago, mid-70s, however long that is. And long time. And so I was doing oils, and then at the time we had little kids, and it was really hard to do oil. I was working in a short period of time. I was working a lot and working on the kitchen table and whatnot. And it was I somehow got interested in watercolor. It was a little local class or something like that, and that did it for me because that solved all my problems. I could get them out on the table and work for a half hour at a time or whatever, and no cleanup or anything like that. And plus I really liked the watercolors. And so I got to do those, and I did nothing but that for a long time, 25 years or so. About, I'd say 5 years after I started, I quit my job. Quit a pretty good job. And Cindy was teaching at the time, and so we decided to just give it a shot. We'd save a little money. And
what are you doing?
A lot of people said that. And I opened up a frame shop. I learned framing, which I was already doing some anyway. Learned framing, and so I jumped into that. I did framing, and I was painting on the side. And then I was painting more and more. And I'd say, maybe I did framing for another 10 years, probably, along with painting. Started doing a lot of art fairs, and I did that for a long time. That was, the only way in for me. I had no background, no training, no galleries were looking for me. So that was my inroad, and that's what I did for years and years. We don't do it now. Cindy is retired from teaching after 40 years. So that's another reason I was able to do that. But anyway, as well as writing support, she was able to carry the insurance and that kind of thing, which makes it really difficult for artists nowadays. They have to do all that.
They do
especially
need
if you
that
have a
extra
family.
support, and Cindy is a great supporter of Jerry's. I mean, every time I've been with Jerry, Cindy is right there supporting him, and I think that is that's the reason why some artists can be very successful, because they do have that support system.
Absolutely. So. She does all. I'm non-technical. She does all my. If you email me or whatever, she's the one. Or if you look at the website or whatever, she's the one doing it. And half the time, if you get an email from me, it's actually from her. So she speaks for me better than I speak for myself.
Okay, you're jumping in here.
Okay, so I think that's basically it.
I'm going to touch base on one thing, plein air painting. I love the plein air paint, and I think it's crucial to studio painting. To studio painting because for artists, we're so visual anyway. So once you're in the field and you see things, it's like an etched memory in your brain. So I think plein air painting is hard and it has its hazards. I'm one of them, and because I came from the north. I mean, we're still in winter up in Rhode Island. So the minute I felt the heat and the warmth, I totally forgot about the sunscreen. So I look like I've got stripes on my arms from t-shirts. So it doesn't look too cool. But good thing, palette knife. We'll get a little bit farther. Plus the bugs. The bugs are a problem. When I went out to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, I have to make sure I carry a little thing of mace, but I also carry my bear
For the
spray.
bugs?
And then you carry your bear spray with you because, you just never know. I was so engulfed in painting a painting of the Tetons. I mean, the clouds were going through, it was the sun setting. I cannot tell you the colors, and my head was right there on that one peak. And I'm painting, and I have no idea how long he was standing there. I think it was a he. But it was this huge moose just standing right beside me. And you know what? He could have been there for who knows how long. But, I looked at him, and I'm like, hi. I'm painting. So there are hazards to plein air painting. This is the first time I've been out all year because we have long winters up there. So when I came down here, I immediately went out to the deck and started painting marching. Well, I had a cute little painting going, a little 8x10, and I packed up, and the wind took my painting into the and I went, oh no.
That's a trick, right?
Yeah. So I didn't know how to get it out. It stayed there for 24 hours, and so the next morning I get up, so I went down to the marina. And I painted once again, a nice little 8x10. I was like, oh, hey, I'm so excited. I'm kind of damn fancy around. And I loaded up my car, and I just laid it on the hood of my car. So I came up down the road, and because it's on the front part of the hood, and it just went like this and over into the street. And I'm like, no. I literally stopped, and I was going to stop any traffic that was coming. I was so fortunate it landed right side. I was like, thank you. So yesterday, I'm painting again. Not yesterday, that afternoon I went out and did another painting and on the property that we're staying. And I'm done, and I'm walking up with my painting, and the sprinklers turn on. Like each and every one of my little pieces has a story behind it. But you know what? It's just acclimating me back to plein air painting. So we sort of need a plein air painting before the actual event, just to get the cobwebs out.
You ruined my animal story. I had the same thing out in the glacier. Only it was a deer, but the deer came right up and was looking over my shoulder. Compared to a moose, that's nothing.
Yeah.
I should have made it an elephant. Okay, I just used up about half your paint there.
Go ahead, keep going.
Can you explain a little bit of how you're organizing this painting that we're watching you do?
Okay.
This is out of the top window up in our where we're staying.
They're staying on Middle Sound Loop.
Okay.
So that's looking over.
Over the waterway towards Figure 8.
Figure 8.
Okay.
And we don't need this now, right now.
No, we don't need it anymore.
That's one of the sketches. Cindy has one kind of similar to that too. Same view, basically.
But right now, the important thing is to get the canvas covered, and I think that's what we're doing. We're getting in our big shapes. It's important to get the big shapes going. Don't look at the notes in the other part of the papers.
Yeah, I do. When I start different ways. Sometimes I'll start with a drawing like this. Other times I just color spot. But I start with shapes and shapes and any line work involved in that. So composition and shapes. So I try to find a big shape like we've done here. This is a big shape for us, basically. This is a fairly straightforward painting. So we've got a big shape here. This will be a big lighter shape up here, and so it's basically a two-shape painting. Yeah, that's a lizard. Yeah.
It's really blending nice with the green.
And we debated about having a lot of sky because it was a beautiful sky. So we debated about a big foreground, but we wanted to divide it one way or the other. We were going to have a pretty big sky, or we were going to have a pretty big foreground. So after thinking about it some, we went with the bigger foreground. It's got some nice little. We just looked for things around there. It's got some nice little tributaries that will come down and break this up. We're looking for ways to break up this big foreground. Cindy's putting in a lot of different colors in there so we can get some variety in there. And the sky will be that pinky sky. What I've done down here is I started with like a mother color, which is kind of an olive green. Maybe it's called olive green, I don't know. But we started with a gray green, and then I've worked out all different directions. I don't know if you can see or not, but in the middle I've got that green here, and then I've got a yellow over here, and we can pull together everything in between that. Going that way, I've got a alizarin down here, so a lot of the grasses are kind of a violet color, get into that. So I've got it going down into the reds here, and I've got some violet up here, and then I picked up a blue-gray up with her palette. I don't know what that is, but
this one?
Yeah.
That's a cool gray. Yeah, I like
Okay.
it. It's a nice bluish gray.
So anyway, we've got one basic color, but we can go any direction that we want to go to, and that's a good way. Another good way to unify your painting, rather than finding one color and mixing it all up, and then painting that for a while, and then mixing up another color. That gives you kind of a basis to work with. So.
I heard you say you were using liquid.
Liquid, yes. We both use liquid, but it's just a nice little blending medium to help your paint flow better.
On that very note, I didn't. Do you normally oil in on a blank canvas, or do you not?
Do we what?
Like put a layer of Turks and linseed and
Oh,
Denmark
the toner.
and wipe it off.
The toner.
Well, no, I mean like putting a thin layer of.
Oh yeah, sometimes I do start that way. I don't know if Cindy does or not.
I have never
I'll take like a burnt sienna, and I'll just put in the values basically, and you get the shapes and everything along with it. But do the values painting in burnt sienna, really loose, and then what you can wipe out, whatever, and get your start that way. So sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just start in with big shapes and hit close to the color. I don't worry about getting the values just right the first time. It's really important, probably the most important thing in painting. But I know I'm going to have to repaint and adjust anyway, so I try to get ballpark. So you get, at least in your design, then you've got your lights against your darks and your darks against your light, that kind of thing. But build your design and then start adjusting value and adjusting color. Need another one? Need another little bit over here?
Yeah. Just to balance it out. I like that passage.
Smacking behind you.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good start.
May I ask a question? At the beginning, you said something about you toned that canvas. Did you say acrylic and medium? Is that what you said?
That's what I have on this one, yeah. It's acrylic paint, just acrylic medium, acrylic gloss medium. Yeah. And you can make it as slick as you want. A little medium will make it a little bit slick, or you can make a really slick canvas. If you get the paint flows a little bit better on it than just canvas. To me, some of it is really dry, and you really have to scrub it.
Do you always use one color tone?
No, I mix mine up sometimes. Sometimes mine will be red, but a more of a greener tone to it, depending on what I want the painting to say. Sometimes I mix colors just to give it an overall tone. Even when I do my watercolors, I get rid of the white paper immediately, and I sort of flow colors one into the other. So it varies. Jerry, have you ever worked on just a gray background?
Yeah, gray. I use all different colors or violet. And sometimes I'll just go ahead and maybe put in a sky tone, like or a rose color or an ochre color, something like that I want as a sky background, and I'll put in a different, maybe a warmer red or rust or something for a foreground. So your painting is partway done. Done that if you know exactly what you're going to do on that.
What color is on the tone canvas? Or when you start?
I think that's mainly a red.
Cindy, could you talk some about your approach to the ocean, especially the crashing waves?
When I did this painting, I prepped the canvas top before I actually started the painting, and I did exactly what we were talking about here earlier. It's such a massive rock in front that I basically, even into the sky, I was making sure I was getting some type of real thin glaze on there for the rock. So when I went to put on thicker paint, my background color just helped me immensely. So it's a lot like exactly what we're talking about here, where I prep the canvas first. The same with here, and then I have this little squeegee, this little rubber thing, and then I do my drawing with that rubber thing instead of doing the actual drawing with the paint or a pencil. I take this and I scrape out the whites, or I'll take an old rag and wipe out where the wave is. So I've got a tonal painting before I start. For me, it is hugely beneficial because I was a drawer anyway before a painter. So those tonals do all my work for me. They tell me my values, my shapes, and my composition, and the whole thing flows together for me. Especially when I do large ones, it will always be a tonal. When I'm doing plein air, my boards are this color, and I just jump in and start painting.
If you could only paint in the evening, do you recommend any certain type of light to use?
I have one of those daylight lights, the OT lights, I think they're called the OT lights. I have that. I have a studio space, so I have quite a few of them. So yeah, I do. And a lot of times my best work came during the middle of the night. Especially when I was raising my kids. My best work came with a pot of coffee and the lights on at night. And it just... So my best paintings came in the middle of the night because that's the only time I was afforded at the time. So now I'm from morning to night, and the roles have reversed. Instead of me asking my husband when he's coming home, he goes, "Are you coming home?" So the roles have kind of reversed, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm mixing up some. I think we need a little more violet.
That violet.
A little more violet. Is that your strip of water?
That was a thin strip of water.
Yeah.
So we could just put the violet in there.
So it comes over the top of that.
Yeah.
I'm working on some sky.
Okay. So you want me to put the violet in?
Yep.
This paint is like this, and this kind of like this.
And I'm thinking we ought to go through those clouds first. Okay, so I'm mixing paint for the sky right now. Like I said, I've got basically two different things I want to start with. So I've got a pool here. I'm making a violet color for the clouds, and I'm starting with my mother color for the sky, which is a peach. I've got some yellow and alizarin in there, basically. But the advantage of doing this is that you can pick up one brush stroke, you can pick up more yellow. Then without even cleaning your brush, you can go into more red and back and forth that way. So you've got variety that way.
All right, got you? Deeper? I'm using your alizarin. I've never used alizarin.
Yeah, a little cooler, more violet, I think.
More violet?
Yeah, that's not too much like the sky. That's basically about what I'm with the sky. So some dark violet. I don't let me tell you what to do. It doesn't like I know what I'm doing.
See, we're following against that ending of the demo yesterday, and they told us it was really good. So Jared and I are following on the heels of what was really good yesterday.
Did you see it?
We heard about it. Were you here?
All that.
Because of that.
All right,
I was painting with Jerry yesterday. We were up at Sneed's Ferry, and we thought this restaurant was closed permanently. Next thing you know, people start filing in, and we had to ask permission halfway through our painting. But I turned to look at him. He had white going like that. Right across. I said, "You might want to remove that."
They give you free food.
Now, you know what? They offered us some drinks and a commission, not commission, what do they offer us?
Yeah, commission.
And so, as good friends, I handed it to him, and then he handed it back.
Yeah, he called us in, and he said he had a proposal for us or something like that. So he had something he wanted to show us. So he had 3 old pictures of each restaurant, and he said that if we would paint that, we could put it in there for exposure. We would get exposure. He would do us a favor.
And then he said, the restaurant has been sold, so it closes down as of September. And you're just.
They were really nice, though. They got us painting out there. And they opened the little window there so they could kind of keep an eye on it. We were right against the back of the building, so we're in the shade. I asked him if that was so they could pass out beers to us. He didn't like us that much.
Well, he didn't know what he meant.
Yeah. This looks still a little like water to me right here. But yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How about the softness of the horizon, like how it was?
Yeah, great.
And then you can always just farm it.
You might need to turn around and tell us what you just conferred on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, keep reminding us.
He's going, Cindy, don't do that.
We hate to tell you what we're doing until we have a little private conversation. We'll figure it out ourselves.
Actually, I wish he was left and I was right, or vice versa, and then I would have been kind of nice.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Left-handed.
So switch.
Hey, you want to trade
No,
for a
that's my
while?
right hand, isn't it?
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Okay. They rehearsed that. Picking painting comes to a landscape that they're not familiar with. I mean, I've always said that your eyes are different than those of us that live here. So when you come into a new landscape or something, I mean, do you try to key off something that you're familiar with or that you seem like you've painted before? Or how do you go about dealing with a completely new environment when you're shooting?
Yeah, I don't think you can help bringing some of wherever you're from, bringing some of that with you. But no, I don't really try to do that. I try to look at it.
You come with your own style anyway. Honestly, for me, because we're all different, we all interpret things differently, which is the beauty of painting with Jerry. He and I both have a different palette. And it's kind of nice to bounce off each other. I think you need those group of artists that you can get with, because you check your ego. There's no ego or anything. It's all about good painting and exploring. For me, coming here, I've never been down here before. So I love the challenge of a new landscape. So that's why I wanted shrimp boats and the marshes. I love those challenges because my mind's a little bit different. I have to be challenged, and I also challenge myself, and that helps me grow. If it's easy, I don't do a very good job at it. So, for me, everything down here it's been fun and wonderful.
I have to make sure my shrimp boats don't look like lobster boats.
Yeah, there is a difference, but I love those arms that they have and the netting. It's really cool.
Well, Cindy, is your palette kind of a Hawthorne type palette, and is that a help in landscape painting?
My palette is sort of a mutt. I've got a little bit of everything in there. I like, I've got some grays, and this is my plein air, like I throw the greens out there because it's quick greens to get to. A lot of the times, especially in my watercolors, I make my own greens, so, my palette is a little bit of, it's a little bit of everything. I can't say it's patterned off of one single person. It's a little bit of everything.
Did you study watercolor?
Yes.
Who did you study with?
Jerry and Nita Engel. What a wonderful lady. I went up north and spent a week with her, and absolutely wonderful lady. And she was, besides her and Jerry, there was light bulb moments. So it was helpful. I love this color.
Want to trade around for a while? You want to? You got to work on that. Work on that.
All right.
Yeah, just like that. We're flying blind now.
Is that paint from the tube now, or are you adding medium to it, or what?
A little medium. Yes. When I mixed it up,
What are you using?
liquid, isn't it?
Liquid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I use liquid a lot in the beginning. In the end, I finish it pure gold. That way I put the layers on. So it's just for me to get everything mixed and becoming neighbors and working together. Then I go right from the...
I use it mainly on a bigger painting because it helps the paint to flow. It's also good for the paint. It's good for the bonding of the paint, makes it strong. But in a big sky or big areas of cover, it flows a little bit better.
Well, the whole lean to fat scheme of things, what is this liquid stuff? I mean, is it
a resin? I think
It's a petroleum distillate.
it's got a resin type stuff. It's fast drying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I got the bottle on me because
Yeah, we can read it up later.
yeah.
It also really speeds up the drying.
It speeds up the drying.
It's good for traveling or something where you're going to have a lot of wet canvas. A couple of days you can handle it with that.
Yes. You do your application for your tree.
Pardon me?
Watch you do your application. Do you do a lot of just...
I'm a geometrical painter.
Okay.
You'll always see me going like this. Once again, it's just my brain. We all have our way of doing it. Now, if you notice, look at Jerry. We both are intertwining two different types of brushworks in there.
Yeah, so we don't.
Well, does that help to give you a more open finished product to do it that way?
It helps me with my shapes. Definitely. I also do a lot of finger work. I'll get in there and smooth it out. So it's not all just geometrical. A lot of my paintings at first will look like that, and then I go in there and switch my mind. But it's just for me to get my shapes in there.
Well, it's hard to get there. I see why you've been moving me now and working on this guy.
It's harder there than on this side.
Oh, it can't be.
So you're both sticking kind of with one brush, you're not switching brushes for colors or dipping them in any kind
I don't do a lot of brush cleaning, unless I'm going from a real dark to real light. I'd rather have a couple of different brushes going. But that varies per person. I've heard people that wipe the brush after every stroke, and so, that's fine. I could never be that disciplined to do that.
Cindy, yesterday you were watching you and you had kind of this backward approach. How does that benefit you?
Oh, you mean when I was plein air painting?
Yes.
A lot of times I'll start out my plein air painting and I face my objects and get it in. I then immediately turn my palette around and go by what I remember in my head. I think that works the best. I never finish my paintings off with the reference material. I always finish off with what looks best, what I did on the canvas. So I think that's important. Plus, it allows me not to be so realistic because, believe it or not, if you look at my older work, I really have loosened up. Because I used to do portraits, so I could get in there pretty good. And so it allows me to loosen up by not going by the reference.
You use bristle or synthetic?
I use an array of everything. These are synthetics. I use an array of everything. I've got, I brought at least 100 brushes, and I'll probably only use 4 on this trip, but I just cannot not bring them.
Oh, really?
Were you a Girl Scout? Always prepared?
No, I was a tomboy. Girl Scouts wouldn't let me in. I was a tomboy. I grew up with all brothers, and I have all sons, so my chances of it's just not there.
Are those brushes filberts or flats?
Flats.
I think this is a filbert. I usually get flats. They turn into
And this
filbert.
one's a flat.
They turn into
I'd like to bring like dark over here. Oh, and my clothing last year, because I've got my plein air clothes do not look good. Last year I bought new plein air clothing. So this is it. I've actually worn these pants for like 4 days. But you know what? They're lightweight and the air goes through them. So that's why I look the way I look. Mine will be that way, but you know, later out in a museum, they're going to have my clothes hanging somewhere in a case. And there's her apron, and there's her clothes, and there's her backpack. Good luck. No, I'm gonna
Okay. I'm going to bring some of this down in here. Is that right, you?
That is totally fine.
Okay, so at some point we're getting things filled in here, and we'll start moving some color around, make sure things that we use in one place are distributed around through the canvas. So.
Okay, that's going to help with breaking up that spot to make this shape in there.
But anything can be repainted and will be, so
Yes.
you can't get too far off.
I never finish a painting in an hour. My little 8x10s, I have careers in my little 8x10s. So nothing gets painted that quick.
No, just a second back. I'm just trying to get rid of all this blue, dirt, background color.
Have you guys done this before?
No, this is really Jerry has. This is my first.
The only time I've done this kind of thing, I was traveling with a friend in England, and we painted, and he ran out of canvases, and so we did a couple. One turned out pretty good, the other not so much.
How do you sign this?
Who gets caught early?
That's what you're worried about. Top billing. All right, we need some darks down
We
here,
need
right?
some darks right in there, and I was just going to do that. See, great minds think alike. So grab my dark.
So good, I agree.
And those darks that you're putting in now, why do you need darks in?
That we're balancing off the painting right now because we're getting it covered. So we really need to balance off and start pulling it in. So I'm just going to spread some in here.
That's good.
And white right there with that.
Explain what you just said.
Yeah, what does balance off?
Well, balancing because, you know, you don't want, first of all, if we left it the way it is, this painting's going to lean this way because there's a huge dark shape on this side. So therefore, we got to bring this color around somewhere over there. And then I was trying to put some of the blues in the grass because, of course, the sky is directly above it. So I just want some of the blue to reflect into the grass.
Switch that.
You just said that you didn't think it was good at all.
I know.
You just been right in.
No. If you get paint on my clothes. Yeah. Then you put the highlight on the grass in there.
We can always go back later.
Right.
Are you sorry you put that little round bigger?
No, because the cloud was really going to be tough.
Yeah.
We're both wearing.
It's just as hard to go in. Okay, so we don't need any shadows, right?
No, but you know what? We need some of that color just to pop through over here, you see? So it's just not created.
This color?
And then, yeah, I just stuck it there and then maybe some glue down into that tree. Cindy, what do you think so far?
Me?
There it is.
Yeah.
There's your answer.
I'm gonna go to blows. I'm just waiting.
Her philosophy is that you can't, if you know anything nice to say, don't say anything, right?
That's right. Okay, I'm just bringing some of that.
Actually, from back here, I can see sky and water and
A lot of depth across the marsh from here. Lots of depth.
Gonna check on that.
yeah.
Okay, Jerry, to the right a little bit. To the left, no.
Oh. We need another couple of bushes or something here, right?
Okay, you do that. I just want to go back into the sky a little bit. Do you mind?
Yes, I mind.
Are you being conscious of warming up the colors as you come into the foreground?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're getting a little warmer. Yeah. Better make them warmer. Glad I thought of that.
If I switch sides, you're going to be painting her.
You know, this audience participation really helps.
Would you ever use a cold undertone to a canvas?
Absolutely.
Under what circumstances?
Maybe even winter. Would you use a cool on a winter scape?
Purple.
Because it would be easier to warm up the snow, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe the opposite. I like opposites.
Opposites,
So like if it's going to be a warm picture, maybe cooler undertones, you know, so you have that to play back and forth with. Or a snow picture, go real, you know, pretty warm, browns, and that kind of thing. It's for me, it's more of just a matter of happen chance, or you know, just whatever I feel like at the time, right? I tend to tone my canvases just by using up paint that I have left over. So I might have some grays and some warmer rust or orange, that kind of thing. You know, they all work. It doesn't matter. The main thing is you're not looking at a white canvas. That's the advantage of it. You're not looking at a white canvas.
It's still, that white canvas is intimidating.
It's easier. You got kind of a mid-tone established there already, and you can work both directions. The problem with the real dark one here is that kind of established all dark, so we're working kind of all one direction from that. But I think it's a little harder with the dark canvas like that to cover it up. I probably won't be doing any more on a canvas that dark.
I'm kind of having fun with this, with the dark canvas, though. I really am, because I don't usually go this dark. I'm a little bit lighter, but I'm having fun with that.
Acrylics, if any of you are acrylic painters, I usually use a white canvas for that, or a very light tone, because acrylics are more transparent. It's a lot much more transparent medium, and what you have underneath influences it a lot. And it really doesn't with this. You can see, you know, we're pretty easily getting rid of the red under there. But with acrylic, you don't get rid of it so easily, and it takes a lot more overpainting. So I try to use just a white canvas or light canvas and let some of that bounce through where it's where the paint is more transparent. Those are nice. Those are nice little strokes there. This part was back here. You could only see from up, because we were on the second floor. Down low, we only saw the one layer of trees across here. So this violet layer back there was, you have to get up high to see that. You missed some spots right in there too. While you're at it.
There, honestly, that doesn't work for me. It's just, reading-wise, so I like handsaw, it works.
Now here's where we're probably going to get into a fight here. 'Cause I start putting on really heavy paint. And she's making faces back on
She's just saying stay on your side of the canvas.
No.
You tried that galvanic light medium?
No, I never have. Have you, Jerry?
What is it?
Galvanic light, and
What is the difference?
I don't know, I just like it.
Betty, do you use that with oils or without it?
With oils. It's a galvanic medium.
No, I haven't tried that yet.
You'd be glad to get rid of this red, won't you?
Yeah, this was a little intense.
How does one come up with a price that they're comfortable in selling the painting?
Excuse me?
How do you come up with a price to sell your painting?
I don't. I have a gallery set me up on a price list, and I follow it. So someone set it up for me, and I follow that, and then I have a couple of people I go to to let me know if I think in the right ballpark.
I go with what's competitive in my area. I know some people that paint pretty similar to me, and I'm pretty much a local or regional artist, and that's the area that I compete in. So that's where my range is, and oil painting compared to what you can get for watercolors is still a pretty good price.
So it's not like selling your children?
Yes, it is. It is, yeah. You know what? Sometimes. I do. I have I have a few paintings that I won't sell that I am keeping, and a couple of them are my portraits, but I won't sell those, and I have a couple landscapes I won't sell. But there's also other reasons why I don't. Something happened in those paintings that I want to remember. So they're great little reference material for me also.
I keep one traveling once in a while, but not very often.
I've got a friend that sold a painting and was so distraught he offered to buy it back.
Did they have to pay more for it?
Yeah, he offered more. Yes.
All that red popping through might not be bad. Yeah, I'm saving a couple of those. Guess we could always put it back too. But that's what toning does. No matter what you use, it does. If you leave some of that in, it holds it together.
Can I ask what color you used with the alizarin to get that peach in the sky?
The peach, I mixed up some cad yellow and alizarin.
Just straight cad yellow, not medium or low?
It's a medium.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't use the light very much. I just don't like it. It's just too cool for me.
We sort of have a wall here. I'm breaking this up so you can actually sail, walk to the painting.
What do you have in mind here? Something here?
Yeah, I'm going to break that up more because it's still another little line. Do you need a hot
This, I don't know, this layer back here had some houses too. I was still thinking a little darker for that.
For the
For the background. What do you see this back here as?
Water.
Yeah, see, there's
Yeah,
actually,
I like the distance there, but what if we stuck popped up another little island there and at least put some houses in because that's
yeah, I think.
walk through the painting a little bit.
Okay, what I was thinking was. Here we go. Here we go. It's got to be this now.
And then see what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's what I'm seeing though. I don't really see this right here, but I think it's looking at. Oops. Oh, I threw it down. We'll start over. I'm seeing a little darker.
You want it darker?
Yeah. Because I'm seeing that as water. I don't see it.
I see this.
I don't see another island back there, and that's what we were talking about as far as getting depth.
Okay, now wait, stay right there. What if we put in?
The clown.
What if we stick in some shape like that?
Some houses?
Yeah, a faint
Yeah.
house, because you can almost stick like a little sailboat back there. That dark? Are you serious?
I thought I was serious. Now, the houses were back in. All right, check it out. We can check it out. And the houses were back in here.
I think we got a vote.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a vote on it.
I think there was a big sand dune back there.
I see where you're going.
All right. Well, let's settle it. I'm glad we resolved that.
You got to go back and look. I see what you're doing, but if you do that, I think you need this light over here because somewhere there's light coming through the clouds. So you need,
The light there.
if not, we're going to get too many hard lines. Don't you think across we're going to have like a stopper?
How about if we come back in here then and flatten this out and brighten
Brighten or darken, maybe break this up a little bit.
All right.
So maybe
All right.
put it in here.
Yeah, they were getting some contrast.
Grade that up some.
I know, I can't see it.
Up here we have a glare on this now that we've got all the paint.
We got a glare down here, big time.
You got a glare too?
Yes, we did.
I think Jerry left.
You caught me. I was kind of itching my way out.
All right, is that going to work, Jerry, by graying this down?
Yeah, that's good.
And pulling this up a little bit?
Chimney. She's got a chimney on there.
Looks like a sea.
You're a city.
You can go back over that. I just think we need a little break between it, contrast between the sky and the background. One way or the other. Because we're not-
Contrast and the violets, and these things need to be a little bit bigger. now you are, right? You didn't see the water before?
But this was going to be your trees back here, right? Is that what this was?
I was thinking, no, because I was thinking that was going way back into the ocean.
Oh.
I was thinking of the past, and then you can stick those islands.
I got you.
Where's your blueprint?
I got you. I had that going all the way across. Now I know over there. But yeah, that's
so
good.
That's good. I think we can create more distance
Yeah,
if we
that's fine.
open up the ocean. You need to go cooler?
Yeah, cooler. The value is okay for me, but I think it's green a little warm. Temporary varnish, spray varnish, Krylon or something like that.
Reworkable.
Yeah, and removable. And then if I still have the painting in a year, then just a varnish, kind of a satin varnish I like to use. But you're supposed to wait 6 months to a year, depending on how thick your paint is. And it's more just for long-term protection. It really doesn't. It also changes the surface on your paint. So if you have areas that are some areas dry, kind of flat, and some areas kind of shiny, it makes it all uniform.
Especially if I'm doing like a sunset, I will scrub a cadmium yellow and a cadmium red and a touch of green just to take off the sweetness. And every now and then I scrub my paint, scrub that in the paint, then I wipe it off. And it just gives it that little extra hazy feeling. So I have used some of those, and I wipe it right off, but it's just enough to break it up. Have you ever done that?
No, I overpaint. If you're talking about overpainting, I do that a lot, but I don't glaze. But I'll usually have 5 or 6 canvases going on all the time anymore. That's just, I didn't used to do that at all. With watercolor, I never did that. I was straight through. But I decided that when I'm painting in the studio, I'll have 5 or 6 canvases going on, and sometimes they'll sit for a week or two. And then I like that overpainting because you can leave some of the underneath come through, and you basically repaint everything. So sometimes I'll repaint an entire painting and just adjust the values and let a little bit of the original painting come through and add the new over the top. I tend to make things a little dark. And so then I'll come back and brighten them. I try to get it done, all the way outside. I just like to do that. That's when I'm working outside. That's when I really kind of feel like an artist. Otherwise, I feel more like a producer. But that's the special thing about working outside. And I try to get them done all the way. But sometimes, for one reason or another, I don't, or I don't quite like what I get, and I'll rework some of it later. So it just varies from one painting to the next.
I have my days where I question my artistic ability sometimes, especially yesterday. I painted a sweet little, shrimp boat yesterday morning. I was so excited. The next 3 were totally wiped off. And I sat there and cried, and I needed a glass of wine. I needed alcohol. But it's all of a sudden I just went totally blank. I couldn't mix a color. I couldn't draw. I was sitting there going, what happened? So I think everybody goes through that, except Jerry. You did pretty good.
With your permission, I think
that work out
that
better?
is much better.
Yeah.
Does that work out better back there? Yeah. Can you see? Because I got a sheen on this that I can't see.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in the frame. But yeah, I was looking for the person who suggested that.
Right here.
Oh, there you are, right here. Yeah, I think, to me, that looks a lot better. It's about the same value as it was, only cooler. What do you think? Oh, sorry.
But there's a shine up here on this, so it's kind of hard to see. Is it working?
We got the thumbs up.
We did?
Tilted.
So I think, yeah, we probably have to be done here. And actually, I think we got on farther than I expected. Yeah, so we got on a lot farther than I thought. You might do something wrong with these 2 things right here.
You did that.
I know. I thought we could fix it.
I didn't do that. Actually, I think you need that because if you don't have that, then you got this little zoot going on. So you need just add a few more.
Cindy, the paintings of the waves on the back wall, those are coated with liquid?
Liquid. They're actually fresh off the easel. they were. I had to put them in the car, and the one I brought in, I had to sign. I realized when I took out of the box, I had to sign it. So they're fresh off. I like that little dot, but I think you need a dot a little.
And you don't have
We're
to
right
wait
here.
6 months.
No, it's a little dark. It's all orange.
Ron, I see battery in that.
You see that
No,
they're
it was just a little bit again.
Gotta get painted on it for another week.
He does.
Yeah, we did.
He varnishes 6 months later, but she does.
So,
You put which one on right after you're finished? When it's dry. When it's dry.
You do go back 6 months or a year and varnish later.
I really haven't gotten into the varnish part. I don't like the sheen of varnish, so I would tend to do something not that shiny.
You take it.
so are there any questions while we're doing this?
Yeah, you have one back here.
Can the paint dry through the liquid?
No, it doesn't.
Because actually, I don't put the liquid on until it's dry, and then the liquid is also speeds up the drying.
Right out of the tube?
Yeah, see that strip there was just so solid. Now it looks better.
United paint.
I like the way you put the lights on this side too. That was so solid.
Which is an island like Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, except very primitive.
And that painting is from the Block Island.
Yeah, it's primitive. That's it. So we went over to paint, and I knew there was a nude beach there. I just so we took my truck over and we hiked down, and Cindy was with us, and we hiked down, and it's quite a steep hike down. And we set up, and next thing you know, there are people popping out, and their clothes are coming off. so we're painting. Actually, Jerry painted.
They're about 40 yards away.
Yeah,
right?
so Jerry painted towards them. I sort of picked up my canvas and went like this and started painting. And then so they walked over. And what was funny is the woman dressed herself or just put a top on. But the men just walked right over. And the hardest thing to do is keep eye contact. You're focusing and your mind is going eyes. No idea what he said. That's our plain air.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I guess Harry.
I have a group of plain air painters, and it's usually on Sunday mornings we meet at 7 and then at noon we have and discuss our painting. It's always a new client. Our Jamestown. I love Jamestown. Yeah, absolutely love Jamestown.
A lot of places to paint.
Well, it's a beautiful day.
Has a lot of international artists. You check those and you see the workshops, and you can get on the website and see what kind of work they're doing, who's doing the kind of work that you want to do.
Yeah, I've done some.
And that's as far as an individual major artist, that's, you just have to.
I'm gonna get your way.
See who does that. Yeah.
I didn't know if that really happened.
It's never happened to me, but
She painted her son.